Are we live? I don't know what's going on.
What is up, everybody?
Oh, baby.
We're Hill City Paranormal.
We is in the house.
I'm Courtney. Who are you?
Dirk Diggler.
Okay.
I'm Sean.
We'll wait for a few people to tune in. Tonight, we are just having an open live Q&A.
We talking ghosts.
It's October 1st.
It's officially the spooky
season.
The spooky dookie season.
I'm super jealous because some friends of ours are in Salem as we speak.
Oh,
Rhonda Harris and Kim Sage and company.
Yeah, I don't know why they got. I wanted to go to Salem.
I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go too. Road trip for next year, possibly.
Yeah, hopefully.
But we'll get there.
So not only is it October 1st,
you know,
we have a pink banner in honor of.
And the boobs, breast cancer.
It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's also National Pizza Month.
I like pizza.
Halloween is also this month.
Halloween.
It's also National Origami Month. I can't fold origami.
I can. I'm really good at that. That's a hidden talent that I have that you didn't know about.
Oh, yeah?
I'm really good at folding shit.
It's also National Popcorn Month.
Like popcorn. Really good at eating popcorn.
You're really good at eating popcorn? Hey, John, Shonda, FBRI.
In the house.
Speaking of John and Shonda and Mike, hey, April.
April. What's up?
Happy October. Happy October. Happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Save the tatas.
We need to worry about saving them every month.
Oh, Lord. Hey, Mike.
As nice as they are.
I got corrected. I need to call him Mike, not Michael. I'm working on this, people. But this past weekend was so eventful. So we met up with John Sullivan, Shonda Brooks, and Mike Brooks from Fredericksburg Paranormal in one of our very favorite towns ever, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
I love Gettysburg. I could go to Gettysburg every day and be happy.
I'm trying to convince Sean to move there. You know, that would be nice. On the way out of town, I was like, there's a for rent sign. There's a for sale sign. There's a for rent sign.
Or at least move closer to Gettysburg.
Yeah, that would be nice. Where you can just take like a day trip.
Hey, I love Gettysburg. I could, Gettysburg is just, it's not even a paranormal thing. It's the ambiance, the atmosphere, the people are cool, laid back, and just the history. It's almost like
everybody's really nice in Gettysburg.
So far, I get a lot of weird looks sometimes. I'm a weird person, though. I guess, it's like I said, it's just a different atmosphere. It's a different place. A lot of history there, good and bad, ugly, great. It's almost like you step back in a time going to Gettysburg.
Yeah, and this weekend I heard they're having like a huge antique show like on the battlefield.
See, I'm jealous of that because I'm an antique guy.
Yeah.
I cannot go to a city without stopping at an antique shop.
This is true.
That's one of the hidden secrets of mine that I have is that I cannot go out of town or to a city, local or far, without looking at it.
But we have a very busy weekend this weekend. This Friday kicks off Paranormal Fridays in the cemetery. So for those that are local or want to travel, every Friday at 10 p.m. and 12 a.m., we're going to be talking about paranormal stuff and going on a mini investigation in a cemetery at night. We do hold these events once a month. For those of you that don't know, it's at Old City Cemetery in Lynchburg, Virginia. And
it's not just any cemetery, though. Like when people who don't know Old City Cemetery, they think it's just a normal cemetery that you drive by and say, oh, there's tombstones. But there's a lot of history there. A lot. And, we've invited teams to come investigate it before we started hosting investigations just to see what they find, if their evidence matched ours.
Right.
And, this cemetery has a lot of history dating back, to the Civil War, even.
Pre-Civil War.
Or even some people like to call it the War of Northern Aggression. But it was, there's a Civil War hospital there. There was a church there that was built. It was constructed from the 1700s. It's all kind of history there. There's unknown burials there. There's slave burials there. There's Revolutionary War heroes buried there. There's War of 1812. There's Royal Air Force. There's all kind of history on those grounds that it's not just your average cemetery. So when people hear, "Well, I don't want to investigate a cemetery," it's not your average cemetery. I'm not saying it because we host it. I'm saying it because of the evidence, data that we've collected there and seen other teams capture there.
And for those that have any questions, we've done, as Sean said, to kind of elaborate on what he was saying, we've done extensive research. Sean and I pride ourselves on working with our team to promote an actual haunted location, or what we believe to be haunted. I'm not going to go and put Hill City's name behind a location if I'm not sure if it's haunted. We went out personally, we've gone out as a team. As Sean said, we've called in other teams just to kind of like corroborate all together and put together our evidence and see, okay, is this something that we can educate the public on? I think that that's what a lot of the time people are lacking when it comes to the paranormal field is education. Not all of us sit here and conjure demons, draw salt circles, light candles, and, practice voodoo. That's not what we do. Some of us are really in it because we really believe there is life after death. We really believe that spirits are just aching to communicate with the living, whether it's dimensional, whether it's personal, I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, we all are in this for the research side of it. When we go out on an investigation, we, take note of the temperature outside, the weather outside, the moon phase, the barometric pressure. We take note of any outside noise. Is there, like this particular location that we host paranormal nights at, has a train that comes through once an hour. So we notate that. We actually tag that. Lost Souls. Hey, it was great meeting you guys in Gettysburg this past weekend. Yes. We had a great time with y'all. But back to what I was saying, these are all things that we as teams need to notate. Because so many people, and I know we say it on our podcast a lot, but there are a lot of people that are out there faking evidence. If somebody says knock on the wall 2 times and all of a sudden you hear knock, knock, you tend to kind of look, okay, where's everybody's hand placement and things like that. So trusting your team and trusting who you're investigating with is very, very important in this field. Howie. Hey, Howie. I don't have a top hat, but I did hear on the news today that there is a man that just built himself and made himself in Guinness Book of World Records the world's largest hat. It stands 17 feet tall, 17 feet, 9.5 inches tall. He constructed this.
I got to step away for a second.
Okay.
I'm empty.
Oh, Lord. You and that damn dip. But anyway, I thought about you, Howie, when he constructed this hat, because it was his lifelong dream to make this hat. He constructed it, and then to prove to everybody that it was a dynamic and versatile hat, he put the hat on his head and ventured out into public and walked around with a 17-foot, 9.5-inch top hat. And I said, that is a hat that Howie would wear. Yes, if I ever see a 17-foot hat during an investigation and a shadow figure, I'm going to be a little bit worried. That is a big hat. But back to what I was saying was, we've done extensive research on this particular location. And, we've gone to some cemeteries and gotten no evidence. There's a lot of people that just don't believe that cemeteries are haunted, and that's okay too. It is supposed to be your last stop before you either go up or down, whatever you believe. and you're supposed to be resting in peace, but that's not always the case. You know, if all spirits are resting in peace, then we wouldn't have anybody to talk to. We wouldn't have any evidence. We wouldn't have all this stuff. So, you know, when somebody passes away and stuff like that, I tend to make a post that says something like "rest in paradise," because I do want you to, you know, obviously rest. Do I know if you're peaceful? I don't know that for sure. So with that being said, we did extensive research, and then we went to the location and we said, hey, you know, we could really open this up. Spooky season is coming. People are curious about paranormal investigating. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody has seen the shows. Everybody wants to be a part of that. They want to be a ghost hunter. They want to be, you know, whoever they want to be. And so we open these up as an educational opportunity to try to explain to people like how the paranormal works. With that being said, we've had extremely active investigations at this location with public, and we've had dead investigations. Literally. Yeah. April said, how did you go about allowing the cemetery to hold mini events like that? Because I'd like to do that here, since we have a cemetery here that people definitely talk stories about.
Good question.
Go ahead.
So, in all honesty, we started with trying to have a level of professionalism on a business level, and and they say don't use the word professional in paranormal investigating, but there is a level of professionalism that you have to have when you're carrying yourself in the public. For example, professionalism and integrity as well. And so when we talked to the director of the cemetery, number one, he's very understanding. I'm not going to say he believes everything that we say or do, but he's very understanding in what we're trying to do. And you go to them with a purpose and a goal and a mission, and it's all in the way you present what you're trying to do. Where we live in Lynchburg, it's very still taboo to be a paranormal investigator and to even talk about paranormal. So you have to establish some relationship. Fortunate for us, we had a team member who worked at the cemetery who just so happened that when she approached the director, we knew the director personally. And even though we knew this director personally, we went to him and talked to him about what we were trying to accomplish. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to get in there ourselves and investigate after hours. And he was okay with that. And once we presented evidence that there's some sort of activity going on in there, that we were researching the cemetery, we had asked him if we were able to host investigations to allow other people to assist us with research, and so to speak. And he was okay with that. And then once we were able to show that what we're doing is a positive thing, it's not conjuring demons, it's not devil worshiping, we're not desecrating the grounds or disrespecting the grounds in any way, shape, or form, we were able to shed a positive light on what we do. The level of integrity that we carry, of not faking evidence, not trying to do things to make things happen during investigations, you know, and we're upfront and very honest with not only the staff there but the public there. If we have a night where nothing's communicating, nothing's happening, no EVPs are coming through, we're very open and honest about that before an investigation even starts. We've even taken staff and shown them what we do and how we do it, and allowed them to investigate with us so they can see how we operate and what we do. And the staff see that we respect the property, we respect the people who rest there, and that's the most important thing you have to do. So I know that's a whole lot. You can replay the video, but it's all about you go in there with a plan. You go in there you don't just go up to them and say, hey, I'm a paranormal investigator, I'd like to start hosting public events. They're going to look at you like you got 6 heads. You sit down, think about a well thought out plan, heavily explain what you do and what you don't do, and you go you just start with a conversation. This didn't happen overnight. We're not even fully public with the location yet, to be honest with you. And this stuff is taking time. It's taken a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Work and effort, and trying to convince people that we're not bad people and we're not the people on TV. And again, integrity and professionalism. They say, professional is not the word you use in paranormal. I disagree. And the reason why I say that, and I still use the word professional, because there's people out here, I'm sure everyone's seen them, that's not professional. And it gives a lot of investigators a bad name. And so you have to carry yourself. The way I carry myself on the podcast is not how I carry myself
No.
when I'm doing business. And so when I walk in there, you put your team shirt on, you make a nice shirt to represent yourself. It's all in appearance. The same way you do a job interview, so to speak. That's one reference I can use. You don't walk into a job interview and say, "Hey, I'm here to, be your lead manager for the position, and I can do it and make things happen." You explain your experience and what you do and your beliefs, and you start there. So you start small and build a relationship with the cemetery or any location that you'd like to have. So hopefully I answered your question to the best of my ability.
I do kind of want to add on that a little bit. April, just so you know, I don't know how this particular cemetery in your town operates, but this particular cemetery in which we host our public investigations is a historical location. It's a nonprofit, and it has actual, there's an operating museum on premises and things like that. So that was a little bit easier to go to with a business plan, as opposed to most cemeteries are owned by a church. And churches are very hard to penetrate with the paranormal world, just because of their personal beliefs. And I don't knock that at all. I don't down churches. They want to keep their, sacredness about them. And that includes their cemeteries. The funny thing is around here is, I was scrolling social media the other day and I saw, a ghost walk pop up in our town. I said, a ghost walk. I know that there is Ghost Stop here that does their walking tours, but what is a ghost walk? So I clicked on it, and it's another local cemetery called the Presbyterian Cemetery that October 17th, 18th, and 19th, they're doing 15-minute tours around their cemetery to talk about all things spooky. This is church run. And so that kind of made me chuckle a little bit, because I've actually attempted to get into this cemetery in particular and was completely shut down. Absolutely not. Did they want the church and paranormal involved with each other? But then they're doing a spooky ghost walk for Halloween. So I thought that was kind of funny. But that goes to show that people in this area, are starting to get wind of what an actual paranormal researcher does. And they're getting a little bit more open to it. Howie, wanting to bring people to understand and experience Lynchburg history, being a business professional, allowing others to see Lynchburg and what it has to offer. And that is exactly it. I mean,
that's a big thing for me. If you're ever on my tour, and I don't know if anybody's in the room that's been on an investigation with me at the cemetery, I study the history. I'm a big history guy, so I study the history a lot on the cemetery and what it has to offer. So I do believe in a huge part of the historical piece of the cemetery. That's huge to me, and bringing the knowledge out of it, because there's a lot of history at that cemetery. There's a lot of well-known people buried there, and to me it's more than just an investigation. Every investigation I go to, that's why I go to mainly historical places. Even before we were public with what we do with investigating, I would want to go to the more historical locations because I want to know the further history on the location.
Right.
That was always a big thing to me.
Hey, Daryl.
Bedford Paranormal.
Yeah, Bedford Paranormal. And Daryl also organizes at Clover Hill Village in Appomattox, which is another historical location.
Great location.
Another location such as Old City Cemetery, where the history is being preserved. And, that's a big thing with paranormal investigating. I want to know that the location that I'm investigating, either my money is going to restoration or historical preservation.
And I'm glad you touched on that. That's another thing that we do is all of our investigations at the cemetery our percentage of our money goes back into the
big
cemetery. Well, a
percentage.
big percentage. We don't thrive and live off of our investigation. I know some people do, and that's fine.
No,
But we actually
that would
are
be
trying
nice.
to preserve the history. It's a nonprofit organization. There's a lot of great museums and a lot of great histories on the a lot of great historic pieces on the property. We'd like to add to that. I'm actually working on donating artifacts that I have to the museum myself. And a lot of our money goes back into equipment for people to use, and we don't charge for people to use our equipment.
Yes, we do not rent our equipment out. That is a big thing.
Yeah, and also it goes back. A lot of the money we make goes back into the cemetery. So that's another part. If you're interested, April, I'm talking to you at this point. Speaking with the cemetery about is donating back to the cemetery to help upkeep or maintain, or if it's a historic location. People love talking about what you can do for them.
And the church likes talking about money too, but I'm going to keep religion out of this.
Church loves money.
So if it is church owned.
What's up, Ryan Jones, by the way, too?
That's right.
We'll talk about the church in a minute.
No, we ain't going to.
But I ain't going to let that slide. We got to speak to Ryan.
That's right.
Freaking awesome
paranormal show.
Which airs right after ours at 9 o'clock.
9 p.m. And we'll actually be on the freaking awesome paranormal show on October 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern
Shout out
Standard
Cabin
Time.
on the 360 as well. Another great location to go to.
Yep.
A lot of great history there. You got Civil War. You got the early settlers in Virginia.
So let's talk a little bit though about our weekend. We were in a historical location.
We were at it started off at the Rainworth Lodge with FPRI.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Great team, great people.
Clover Hill, it's hard nowadays for places like this. It is. It is.
Yeah, and I will double back on that. Clover Hill, Cabin on 360, those are places that aren't falling apart. They're historic locations that aren't raggedy. The roof isn't caving in. You can tell that the money's going back into the property. I love it. Some places I've heard and seen that, you're paying a lot of money to go investigate it, and then the floor's caving in, can't go on this floor because it's falling apart.
Yeah.
And,
I'll tell you one place that I see the money going back into renovations is Blue Ball Inn.
Yes.
So he got this place in complete disrepair. Floors were caving in, stairs, were unstable. Roof is, messed up. And every paranormal team that goes in there, he takes that money and he actually vlogs his renovations. So I was very impressed to see that because, after you pay, let's say, I can't remember what it was, $300 or $350 for an overnight investigation, and then for a week and a half after that, you're seeing where he's able to hang new drywall, paint, repair the roof, add better lighting, whatever the case may be. He was repairing floors, I think, the week after we investigated. So, I mean, that's a location that I like to see.
Yeah.
And that is, in my opinion, that's a haunted location. I mean, we were there and there was a lot of stuff that we could not explain that happened there. I mean, intelligent responses, doors opening on their own,
knocks on the wall,
things like that. So,
yes.
Yeah, so I do like that. But yes, April, that's what we do with one of the historic homes where we donate almost all back into the house. Exactly. And then you want to obviously make sure that location is putting back into the house, like I said, such as Blue Ball Inn. If you don't follow them on TikTok, you can absolutely, I think it's the Blue Ball Inn on TikTok. You can actually see his renovations from start to current. And it's just constantly happening. He holds Paracons there. He does a haunted house for Halloween.
I would love to go back there.
All that stuff. So speaking of events, though, we have a lot coming up. This Friday kicks off Paranormal Fridays in the cemetery. Again, we're doing them at 10 p.m. and 12 a.m.
Right after the ghost tour.
Right after the candlelight tours, which are awesome. If you haven't been on a candlelight tour, it's a whole production. Highly recommend. Then Saturday, we turn around and we're speaking at Paranormal Night at Avenel from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Another great location to investigate, by the way. Avenel House in Bedford, Virginia.
Yep.
If you haven't investigated there, very good price. very well kept place. You can tell that their donations and funds go back into the location.
Yep.
It's a museum. It's a wedding venue. I mean, you can't tell the place is old. it's everything is like pristine in there.
Yeah, I love it.
Great history in there too.
Then we turn around and I already said that. Then we turn around, we take a complete turn, and I know you guys have heard us talk about it, but Sean and I do Civil War reenacting. So the weekend of the 18th through the 20th, we are going to be joining the 24th Virginia at the Battle of Cedar Creek in Middletown.
Oh, yeah. I keep saying Sailor. I don't know why.
Sailor's Creek was last weekend or a couple weekends ago.
Oh, yeah, I missed that one.
Then November 1st, we are speaking at the Lynchburg Public Library, their newest location downtown, which also happens to be the historic site of the Federal Transient Fire that took a lot of lives, back pre-Civil War. And then November 2nd, we will be speaking also at the Festival of Light. If anybody wants to come down, it's an awesome metaphysical festival. It's a 2-day event, the 2nd and the 3rd. They've got tarot readings, psychic readings, crystals, mediums. I think somebody's talking about angels or something. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of vendors, great food, all that fun stuff. So, a big thing with paranormal investigation teams that are looking to get out there in the manner that we are is collaboration. Collaboration is key. I hashtag it all the time. Para-unity is a must, and that's the number one reason why I agreed to do Paranormal Night at Avenel, because we get the opportunity to collaborate with not one, but 6 other teams and, people that I haven't met before. And that's great. So another reason why we went down to Gettysburg this past weekend, sure, of course, we wanted to go to the Paracon. That was the number one reason why we went down there. But we got up with Fredericksburg Paranormal on Friday night. We were able to investigate Rainworth. Then Saturday, we met, I don't know how many teams we met on Saturday. And, paranormal investigators also got up with Fredericksburg Paranormal. And then Saturday night, we met Lost Souls. We met, I'm probably going to forget everybody's name.
I can't remember everybody's team. I can't.
We met an awesome grandma and daughter duo, and just a whole bunch of awesome people that we met when we hopped on a public event.
But let's talk about Rainworth for a second. We literally hit up Daniel. I call him Boner. That's his name, Daniel Boner. And we hit him up and, just to visit. Every time I'm in town, we stop by and say hello. And we were like, hey, let's investigate while we're here. And he was like, sure, get your equipment. Let's go. Y'all got equipment? If I don't, I got some. And I was like, sure? He was like, yeah, come on. This is the owner of a location, a very historic location built in the 1700s. It's got so much history tied to it, like so much. But that's where General Rhodes came through in the Civil War, set up in a Confederate camp, took over their blacksmith, captured him. The blacksmith escaped the Confederate camp, went and fought for the Union, came back to that location, lived there until he died in the location. Lots of history there. A famous actor, Oscar Shaw, lived there. I mean, Chuck and I was up one night to like 6 a.m. investigating because it was so freaking active. It was crazy. But anyway, I don't know many locations where you can just stop by and say, hey, can we investigate for a little while? And sure, go get your stuff. And he sat there at the location and investigated with us the entire time. And it was pretty active. Crazy EVPs that night. Weird noises, knocks on the wall. I mean, footsteps. It was Mike and Sam, what's up? Our UFO friends. But yeah, that was crazy. And again, investigating with friends, FPRI was nice. John Sullivan and that damn EVPs he gets, but he got some crazy ones that night.
Yeah.
So Friday night was actually really cool.
Yeah, and
we investigated 5 different places
in 2 days,
in a day and a half.
Yeah. And went to a Paracon.
5 different locations. And people have probably done more. I'm pretty sure another team will be like, well, we did 10.
Well, that's
in one
awesome
day.
because I was tired as shit.
But 5 different locations. And, we got there Friday night, investigated one, got up Saturday morning, went to the Paracon, was there most of the day, and then did 2 locations right after that. No, we did Suicide Bridge right before that.
Yep. And then we did Jenny Wade in the orphanage.
Jenny Wade in the orphanage. And
then we went
to Sachs Bridge
after
right after that to about 5 a.m. You want to talk about a weekend?
Yeah. Then turned around, got a couple hours of sleep, and drove 4 hours back home.
It was crazy. John, I'm pretty sure John Sullivan is tired of me by now. But I tell you what, man, it was a blast hanging out with everybody. But we got some great evidence this weekend. The Phantom Cannon Blast, which you didn't hear.
I did not hear. John, Sean said that you heard the cannon fire.
I heard it.
My stepdaughter and Sean heard it as we were getting into the car when we were leaving. I did not hear it.
It was like.
So let's talk about that for a second.
It was like 4 a.m. and it was the exact same cannon blast.
No, it was when we were leaving and we left at about 5:30.
It was about 5:30 a.m.
Yeah. Somewhere
around there. And it was actually really loud. Like the one we heard was off in the distance. This one was actually really loud. I don't know how.
Okay, all right. So I want to talk about this. And John, I want your input in the comments. So if you have 5 people and 4 hear the cannon blast and the 5th person doesn't, 1A, I'm either deaf as shit, or 2B, like, is it really dimensional at that point? Mike said he heard it too. I feel so bad because I didn't hear it.
It was loud.
And everybody heard it but me. But let's talk about that because I really want to know, does that go over to our whole entire theory about things being dimensional that we've spoke to with Howie? So some people heard the phantom cannon fire. So Howie said, no, it's a frequency and it's residual. So I'm deaf.
No, you just weren't paying attention.
Oh, I was paying attention.
John
said it was loud like we was in the battle.
And by the way, we didn't shout out Howie ASPS, by the way, in the house.
I shouted Howie out. Where were you? You didn't hear it.
Team out.
It's frequency and residual.
We got to get the teams out there.
Shonda said Emily did not hear it either, and she was in that direction. Okay, so I wasn't alone. That's crazy. Ronnie, Bedford Paranormal, what's up?
Bedford.
Hey, by the way, Ronnie, I heard a team backed out on Paranormal Night at Avenel if you want to jump on.
Your favorite one?
Let's see. Carrie said, no, your frequency is different. John said it's definitely residual, or he's calling me deaf, one of the two. Not quite sure.
It was loud.
But if I didn't hear it and Emily didn't hear it, that's crazy.
When I heard it, I was like, what the hell was that? And now I didn't say nothing. Now I said, Dad, did you hear that? And I was like, oh, man, that was loud. And then when I got back to the hotel room, I got a message from John. John was like, hey, we heard a cannon. We heard musket fire. And I was like, no, that's definitely that's that 1F powder. That's that cannon blast.
Okay,
right,
so this is some good points are coming in. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but some really good points are coming in right now. So Mike and Sam said, maybe you weren't supposed to hear it.
Ooh.
And that is deep.
That's actually getting kind of deep there. Elaborate on that a little bit, because that's actually really deep.
Right. Then Lost Souls said they didn't hear it either. They were down. Oh, wait, no. Chris heard it. Emily did not. She was down by the water and came back up to the bridge. And then everybody told her what they heard. So now we've got Emily and me that did not hear it. I wonder, did Shonda, let me know in the comments, did Morgan hear it? Because she was on the bridge too. That was her name, right? Morgan? Howie said my hearing is different from theirs. I do agree with that. I do, and I talk about that quite a bit. So Sean's a musician. So everybody always asks me when, people are setting sound and stuff like that. Like, hey, can you set sound for my bands? My answer is no, because I am trained to set how Sean is supposed to sound, not how somebody else is supposed to sound. I could never set a band sound. John said, what's up, Ronnie? Ronnie said, hard pass. That's why I winked at you. Howie said, that's why some people hear an EVP and others do not. That is a good point too.
Wow, yeah.
Because
that's a good one too.
hearing EVPs is like a whole game of telephone. So when John Sullivan was capturing his 50,403 EVPs that he got this weekend,
50, more like 60,000.
like
800.
one person would hear something and then another person would be like, no, I didn't hear it. Mike and Sam said return trip. Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I'm going to be up there in
a few weeks.
A few weeks, November. Didn't James Brady. Hey, James.
Hey, what's up, James?
Robert. Hey.
Robert, what's up,
Y'all
brother?
chase it if you feel it. Frog in the house. What's up,
Ribbit.
Frog? All right. Carrie said there are times you hear steps and I didn't, and we were in the same room. This is true.
That's That's where our team debates come in.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about that, Ronnie. I'll touch on it. We may have to call after that, but I don't handle disrespect. I'm not getting paid to be there. I'm doing a favor. So if in the event something disrespectful happens, I have no problem packing up my stuff and leaving.
Sure, quickly.
Morgan did hear it. Okay, so Morgan heard it. So me and Emily did not hear it.
And
So
that's
now we got
crazy,
two.
'cause it was crazy loud. It was really loud.
Michael said she heard it. Okay.
Wow.
Mike and Sam said, was it only women that didn't hear it? Yes.
Well, Shonda said she heard it, though.
Shonda heard it, but the only two that didn't were women. Yes. Sean said, not sure about Marianne. Oh, I want to find out about that. Now I'm on a mission. Okay. Mike and Sam said exactly. Robert and I are the Frog Brothers. So it's Ribbit. Yes, Howie, November. Remembrance Day. We'll be up there the 14th through the 17th.
We'll be at the Rainworth.
If for those of you that want to travel to Gettysburg, Remembrance Day is an absolute experience. Whole town transforms back into the 1860s. You see, as Sean likes to call them, a bunch of belles walking around. Women with their hoop skirts, men in uniform.
I'll be in my uniform.
It's funny how the
Feels good to
restaurants
put a uniform on again.
It's funny how restaurants
It's not my green uniform.
segregate, but not by race. They segregate by Union and Confederate.
By blue and gray, baby.
So that was interesting to see. I mean, we walked into Farnsworth. There I go, not talking again. It happens every damn show. Farnsworth for lunch. And it was like the Union was sitting over here. And when Sean walked in, everybody just kind of stopped like mid-fork.
That's they see a big black dude in a Confederate uniform. That's why.
So James said we get EVPs on one device with one voice or sound and something different on another, maybe similar to that. Let's touch on that for a second. Okay?
How we talked about that.
How we did talk about that, but you recently just brought to my attention that when capturing EVPs, we were talking about the DR60 in particular and the DR100, that they actually recommend you set the DR60 and the DR100 and run at the same time. QR100, sorry. Run at the same time and then play them both back.
I want to run that test with John, by the way, because I did get a QR100.
Yeah, John, he's been meaning to call you about that. Michael Brooks said it was really loud. Well, now I feel
it was loud as hell. It sounded like it was near us. That's
crazy. Interesting. No Lost Boys, Frog Brothers. I'll talk with y'all about November. Please do, Howie, please. Carrie, hoop, there it is. That's right. Oh, John, I'm done with you. Get out.
Get out of here.
Get the hell out of here. Isn't that from like a movie or something?
Mm-hmm.
John, I got a QR100. Well, John, we're going to use your DR60 and we're going to use our QR100 because we're now part of the Cool Kids crew.
Yeah.
We're trying to get on John Sullivan's level over here.
But, you know, I've been doing a little bit of research on EVPs because I'm really fascinated. I've been fascinated. And that's why I love our public that talks a lot. I love the team stuff too. So before anybody gets a frowny face and gets mad and want to unfollow
a frowny face. Oh,
yeah. I love the team stuff too, but I love the open discussions because everybody's opinion jumps in here, and that's when we really learn a lot. Is when everybody's opinion starts coming in at once, and when everyone's opinion comes in, everybody has so many different points of view and aspects on what happened. So I've been doing some research, and again, put your opinion on this as well. But I noticed that when they were talking about the DR60 and the QR100 and all that stuff, they were talking about the circuit boards that are in these recorders. And that's how they're able to pick up EVPs a lot easier than other stuff. And so I'm wondering what frequency exactly are these spirits speaking on? Like, what wave are they speaking to? Because like
they're speaking on the DR60 wave. Okay, that's the only wave.
Well, and I'm wondering why. And I'm curious too, though. Like that's why I love paranormal research, because why is it that some places you can audibly hear voices, and some all you hear is the recording?
Well, okay, so let's touch on that. We were in the bowling alley of St. Albans. I ran my voice recorder on my Android. I have an S22 Plus. Naya ran her voice recording app on her iPhone 15. She picked up an EVP. I did not.
I got it on my body cam though.
And you picked it up on your body cam. So again,
all my EVPs come on my body
either
cam.
1A, Android sucks, which I am not co-signing on because F an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, I don't care. But
why'd you go into the
because I don't care.
The iPhone.
I got a really nice iPhone. It's gonna be a really big iPhone. It's gonna be the best iPhone ever.
The best one ever. The biggest.
Oh Lord. John Sullivan said we are all cool kids. I agree, John. I agree. Let's see. Mike and Sam said we've done that, only got stuff on our DR60s. I'm trying to tell you, it's the DR60 frequency. Oftentimes my DR60 will get something Mike doesn't get. Is it frequency or tones that cause the difference, or the device themselves? So again, that goes back on what Sean's saying. He wants to figure out exactly what circuit board is used in the DR60 to try to determine what frequency or tone is being recorded on that device, and then find other devices in which like almost mimic the same makeup. And then at that point,
Well, my body cam, whatever circuit boards in that thing is where I get all my EVPs. Every EVP that I've ever captured came on my body cam.
Okay.
My body cam picked up the voices at the camera.
Why'd you hit me just now?
Because I got excited.
He just hit the shit out of me, y'all. Abuse.
I Ric Flair chopped him.
All right, hold on. We're gonna jump around. We're gonna jump around a second, because while you're talking about your body cam,
going here.
James wants to know what body cam you use.
It's funny you asked that, James, because I've got it sitting right here. It is I got my glasses on.
Does that say a Willie?
No.
Oh.
Mulify.
Mulify. S2 Pro.
S2 Pro. This thing is badass. I'm trying to tell you. This thing picks up every EVP that I've ever had. It's waterproof because I literally walked through the rain in this in Gettysburg. And while walking through the rain, no rain got on my screen here. I got just as clear video as I was under the bridge.
Well, you need to put that as my backup camera.
I don't know if you can see that.
Don't go too close. I
don't want to.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Mulify. I'll post it in the comments. Spell it for me. Let me see.
It also has infrared on it. So your night vision's great. And I know there's different levels of infrared you need for paranormal investigating. I'm not versed or very knowledgeable on it yet. I know a little bit about it, but not enough to speak intelligently on it. So I'm not going to have a whole conversation about it. I know there's different levels of infrared. But again, I know enough about it to know what I'm looking for, but not enough to speak on it. That's why I'm not going to go into a deep conversation about it. But this has caught the best shadow figure that I've ever caught in evidence. I'll share it one day, but it was at Rainworth Lodge. I was outside by myself, trying to relax for a minute. I get hot very easily on investigations. I walk outside and a shadow in the shape of a person just popped up it came out as like a cloud, turned into like a shape of a person, and then like the speed of light just took off running, and you could see it turn and run. Like it wasn't like.
Do you have this uploaded to the computer?
I don't know if I got it tagged or not. I might.
Well, keep talking. We'll find out.
I don't know where to look when you get off the camera.
Right there.
But but you see it manifest on the.
Oh, I don't have it plugged in anyway.
Yeah, it's good because like I don't know where to look when you start fooling with the computer. But like the best shadow figure I ever caught was on that. All my stuff that I've catch that's great is on that camera. But I'm telling you, like if you run the body cam, that's the one I go to. That's my go-to. I love it.
Ronnie said when he grows up, he wants to be a cool kid too.
As a matter of fact, the clearest EVP I ever caught was on that camera.
It was.
It was, and it was at Rainward.
You want to hold my hand?
Yeah. Do you want to hold my hand? That's what everybody said.
That's the conclusion that we all heard.
Including the owner Rainward. And it was so loud. It wasn't like your typical EVP. The typical EVPs I hear are really muffled, got a lot of stuff with it.
I don't know. John Sullivan got some clear ones.
He did get some good ones. I'll give it to him. Or it's a whisper. It's this sounded like whatever it was ran up to the camera and screamed in it. And I'll share that one. We'll do it. We'll put it on TikTok.
That's fine.
So I'll have it on TikTok by the next day or two. But it sounded like something literally ran up to the camera and screamed. Or it didn't have to run, but it walked up to the camera.
It might have ran. You don't know.
And screamed directly in the camera. That's how loud of an EVP it was. And it was a voice that none of us can make. It sounded like a small child, but it was really cool.
All right, let me catch up on some of these comments. Ronnie said, when I grow up, I want to be a cool kid too. John said, Ronnie, you're the original cool kid. Howie said, bingo, that's what we need to find out and establish. What frequency and energy level.
Yes.
Mike is giving you the frequency. So on his Tempe DR60 to capture EVPs, it's 18 to 20, whatever HTZ is. I sound really technologically dumb right now, but I don't know, whatever.
I know I'm quiet right now.
All right. Mom said, nice iPhone 15. Way to go, Dad. Carrie said, need a scope. On frequency, most recorders start out at 20, so I'm told. Body cam, huh? Wonder if John has that equipment. John has all the equipment. He's got a whole tack vest.
I'm going to get me one.
Frequency also differentiates a ghost from an angel.
Good point.
So I went to my society page, ASSAP. I'm going to post a link for everybody. There's a link for everybody. Daryl, I just want to be like Ronnie. You know what, Daryl? Me too. My goal in life, my genuine goal in life is to be like Ronnie Anderson and John Sullivan. I'm going to be a pro one day. Sam said, hey. And then, oh, hell no. I'm assuming that was to the EVP. The Association for the Scientific Study of Anomalous Phenomena. Wasn't that a song? Phenomena.
Something like a phenomenon.
Oh, there's multiple
LL Cool J.
Wow, I went way school. I told my age just now.
Yeah.
All right, Carrie, or the singing at the cabin. Yes, the singing at the cabin.
That was caught on the body cam.
Hurts. Okay, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to sound dumb. James said, I am a cool kid. I'm a cool kid now.
I highly recommend it. It's a little pricey.
Mom's laughing at the tax vest.
It's just a little pricey.
But it's okay because we're going to lower the taxes.
It's the best.
And make everybody be able to afford body cam.
Remember when I was doing that voice?
Howie said, good point, Carrie. Yes. So hertz. 18 to 20 hertz.
And also, be careful when you're buying cameras and stuff like that. Pay attention to the different, do some research on the thermal as well. There are different levels of thermal lighting as well.
Am I the only one that gets annoyed by infrared? I want to know that in the comments.
Or infrared thermal. I can't thermal. Like a lot of people use night vision, and night vision is not going to capture what you're looking for. Well, it might, but it's not.
Howie said no. So you get annoyed by infrared too?
Yeah, I keep saying the word thermal. That's not the word I meant to say. I meant to say infrared.
Your military kicked in.
Yeah, I apologize. I meant to use the word infrared. Some of y'all probably looking like Sean doesn't know what he's talking about.
Howie said he'd rather use a black light. You know what? Me too. And I'm going to tell you why.
I use a black light, Howie. Every investigation I go on, I have a black light. And I would love to start investigating more with a strobe light. A lot of people don't use that tactic because of the people that have epilepsy. But if I was by myself more or with a smaller group and I knew everybody's health conditions, I would love to go very old school and use a strobe light. Oh,
topic for G3, Howie. Wink, wink.
Lighting is a big issue, a big thing that a lot of paranormal investigators don't
get me started with flashlights during an investigation. Lord have mercy.
Howie, John Sullivan mentioned the strobe light as well.
See, I told you he has everything. It's probably in his tack vest.
Yeah, I'm telling you, a strobe light is old school Howie and I had a long conversation about it a long time ago. A strobe light is old school, and it would be phenomenal. As a matter of fact, our team investigation at Old City, I'm going to use it.
Sam said, one of my friends was talking about ghost hunting. I said, ooh, go follow y'all. She's like, really? So you might get a new follower from Wyoming. Whoop, whoop. We love followers from all over the place.
Looks like a heart.
I think this is the proper way to do it.
I think my hands are too big.
No, take your hand and do the other side. This is how the kids are doing it. You know what? He doesn't want to make a heart with me.
Listen.
You hear how that works live on camera.
Let's talk lighting.
He hates me.
Fog light.
John, I'm sick of you.
Not fog light, but fog.
Sean, you just got low-laying fog machine for our Halloween display. Let's bust it out.
Yes, fog is another old school. Well, not really old school, but it's we'll say OG. That's more OG. But yes, those are things that aren't talked about in paranormal investigation.
Okay, Howie said he's going to bring the strobe next time, and he wants to use it on the train depot. Good idea. That's our least investigated location at the cemetery, to be honest with you.
Why don't we investigate the train depot?
Because every time I go in there, it's hot as hell, but now it's cooling down.
I don't investigate the train depot because I get such good activity everywhere else. I just tend to draw.
Carrie said she's unable to do a strobe light, so make sure you let her know. Thank you for letting us know that, Carrie. We definitely would have asked prior.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know.
Ronnie said we use ambient lighting sometimes. That's a good one. I do want to talk about that. Let's see. Shadows abound. Do not like flashlights because it takes away from the feeling. Can lights with red bulbs. Howie said, Roger that. All right. So I want to talk about flashlights on investigations. I understand that a lot of the time we are in dark locations, and to prevent injury, obviously, we need to have a flashlight, right? But when we're like sitting still and actively investigating, or like standing still and actively investigating, like we all need to turn our flashlights off because
Courtney.
There's been, I don't even carry a flashlight.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. Unless I'm walking. I forget it all the time.
Go to the archives.
You can. So, Carrie said, I'll get to that in a sec, Carrie. So, but what a lot of the time I've found when reviewing evidence that everybody's got a flashlight in their hand, which is understandable, right? But we're all staring at a REM pod with the flashlight on it. And then I've got a camera with infrared on. So you can imagine how that looks. I can't see any of the lights flashing when the REM pod's going off. I can hear it. But at that point, I've got to can that evidence because we can't see it. You can't see, did somebody go up and touch that REM pod? Or I know they didn't because I was physically there, but that's never anything that I would be able to post as evidence per se, because you can't tell. You've got to be able to like prove it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the bigger issue with flashlights to me is, what do flashlights do in the dark?
Blind you.
Create shadows.
Oh.
And that's
making up lies.
That's a nightmare.
That is true.
Reviewing evidence is looking at shadows. You think you saw something move, and now you're trying to decipher whether it was a shadow or was it a flashlight or what it was. Also, it kills your night vision.
Right. That's why I said blind you.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I knew it before, but when the military taught us is using our night vision, using our senses. And as soon as a flashlight comes on and cuts off, you can't see shit. You can't see nothing. So flashlights to me, I mean, they're cool if you're walking in a dark place. Of course, you want to prevent injury. But yeah, flashlights, man, they'll kill an investigator.
Carrie said, I want to do the Hearst house. I got touched there. Let's do it. I'm down.
Carrie, you're not the first person to say that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. That's a good point. I did a public one time, and it was the only time. We haven't been in the Hearst house much, but those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about the place that we host, Old City Cemetery. They have a museum that's there. It's the cemetery caretaker's house or cottage or whatever you want to call it, and it holds the first horse-drawn carriage in Lynchburg. It's an old carriage in there.
Beautiful
carriage. It's like in great condition, and there's old coffins in there as well, and old tools. But the one public I was on, everyone was uncomfortable in there, and one woman was saying she was getting touched. in there, and I never felt nothing personally in there, but a lot of people have.
Now, when ASPS came out,
they had some
Shadows Abound had some activity at the Hearst house.
Shadows Abound did have some activity in the Hearst house. So
yeah, I think it was Chris that was uncomfortable over there, or there was an Estes session, and that was actually, I will shout that out. I like watching everybody's different Estes methods. So FPRI makes it fun, and they come out with like funky like eyewear, and I think that that's super awesome to do, because it's like it takes the edge off. You know, a lot of people that go under sometimes might feel uncomfortable, especially if it's their first time doing an Estes session. And then Shadows Abound, when they were doing the Hearst house, the person who was under was inside the Hearst house, and the people that were asking questions were outside the glass. And that was a really interesting technique to witness, you know, firsthand, because I guess that would 1A completely take out the ability to fake it, so to speak. Like if you're completely outside of a building and asking questions through glass in a low tone, like there's no way that they can hear you inside the building with headphones on. So that was interesting. I like seeing everybody's Estes methods. Let's see. Ronnie said, I use a flashlight for safety, but I did do the flashlight experiment at Old Scott Jail and got some questionable evidence due to focusing my camera on flashlight activity. I'm up in the air with the flashlights, like the mag lights.
Are you talking about the mag light, Ronnie? When you're talking about that? And good night, James.
Bye, James.
We appreciate you tuning in, bro.
Maybe that's why the policeman pulls out the flashlight when they do a traffic stop. It is.
Yeah, it's
actually that is a tactic. If they shine it in your face, you're 1A, you don't know if you've got a weapon and you're like trying to be, you know, whatever, a delinquent, then that would be why, you know, they do that. It throws off your senses. I actually learned early on in age, and I still do it, and I catch myself doing it. Whenever I cut off my bedroom light to go to sleep, I close my eyes before I cut the switch off. And then when you open them, your night vision's still there. As opposed to if you cut off a light, what does everybody do? When you cut off a light, you look up at the light. I don't know why we look up at the light, but we cut it off to ensure it goes off, I guess.
I don't.
I do. I just always find it. So I always close my eyes before I cut a light off. So even when I cut my flashlight off, I close my eyes. Ronnie said, yes, the mag light.
Okay. Yeah, I've got one. I've yet to
shits and giggles.
Shits and giggles.
For shits and giggles.
Well,
Rhonda's famous.
Well, when I first saw, it's funny you brought that up, Ronnie. I'm glad you did. When I first saw the flashlight experiment, I was like, that's pretty cool, you know. And then, you know, if you get to the scientific side of it, you can debunk the hell out of it. But then again, if you go scientific, you can debunk anything electronic, anything. I don't care what it is. You can debunk it if it's electronic. So I'm up in the air with it. I haven't used, I've got one. I've got 3 of them, but I haven't done it yet. However, I should have used it this weekend when I didn't have a chance to use any other equipment during the Jenny Wade house and the orphanage.
Yeah.
That's when I should have actually used the mag light, but I didn't think about it.
I mean, I'm up in the air with the mag light. I like the concept behind it, but I've debunked it too many times. So, you know, for those that don't know and are wondering what the hell we're talking about, basically it's the twist on and off flashlights, and you twist them just to where they're barely off. And then the concept behind it is you would ask the spirit or entity, whatever you're communicating with, if you can see me, if you can understand me, or whatever, cut the light on. And if the light comes on, it could possibly be paranormal. And that was total layman's terms. So don't hang me in Times Square for that. Okay.
However, I've seen a similar mag light experience happen to Howie. Howie, are you still in here? Just comment yes if you're still with us. But a similar mag light experience, if you want to call it that, was when Howie used a laser light that was fully charged with a fully charged battery.
Howie's here.
All right. So Howie used a laser light in the chapel, a grid light. The battery completely drained until it died, and like within maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, if that.
I could be off. 10 minutes. If I'm wrong, correct me. it drained the battery completely to the point where Howie was stumped. Like, when the hell just happened? He's checking it, fooling with it. It won't come on until we asked whatever it was to manipulate it or touch it, and then it would flash on command. Whenever Howie asked it to come on, it came on, and when he asked it to cut it off, it cut it off, and the battery was dead. He clicked it, took the battery out, looked at it. It would not work. To me, that's like similar to the mag light. If the battery's dead and there's enough energy to cut it on and off.
I mean, the concept.
So the mag light could actually be paranormal.
Speaking of mag lights, is this a mag light?
No, I don't think. No, that's my SD card.
Oh, I got excited.
The mag light's in there, but yeah. So the mag light could be paranormal if and I get it. It's using the connection to cut on and off if it's heating and cooling. But what if the temperature's still the same? It's just like the cat ball theory. When the cat ball lights up and it doesn't move, 9 out of 10 times it's because the heating of the tube is shrunk and swollen.
So, okay. So with the mag light, when I've used it before in the past, I got it to where it's barely off. I set it, on a solid surface. And what I did was I wanted to try to debunk myself or debunk the theory of the mag light. And so I took my nail and I tapped the mag light and it cut on, and I tapped it again and it cut off. So there's a disconnect with the connectors. But again, the theory behind it is that a spirit or entity can manipulate any device. So maybe that's what the spirit or entity is doing, is tapping the mag light, or, whatever. Or the energy, like Ronnie said, is heating up or cooling down or whatever. Now, this is interesting. John said we use index cards, sometimes with words written on them like yes and no, and place flashlights on the words and get direct responses. I think didn't we see one of the YouTube videos where John did that in an undisclosed location with somebody else?
I think.
And he had the two flashlights like set up side by side. I feel like I saw that. John, was that posted on YouTube?
If you can come up with a creative way to make it to where it's hard to debunk, yes. But, and Ronnie, you're not wrong. I do believe that there's elements that, with what you're saying. I'm just curious, is like, when I saw Howie's battery die and he can't cut it on and off with a switch, but yet that light was cutting on and off for, my God, how long?
This went on for like probably 30 minutes.
It was 30 to 45 minutes. Is the same theory happening with the mag light? Could it be happening? And it's this is one of those situations where you had to be there to kind of get what I'm talking about.
Yeah. See, but my only question is, so when I took the mag light and I tapped it and it went on, and I tapped it again and went off, my mind immediately went to, if somebody moves too hard on the floor and it jiggles the surface that it's sitting on, or something like that. So, I mean, like I said, I think it's fun to use. And the one thing that I'm going to say before we wrap up, because I know we've gone a little over our time. So thank y'all for sticking it out with us. But the one thing I am going to say is, at the end of the day, we all started this as a hobby. I say this to Sean all the time. It is supposed to be fun. So if you find something like a mag light experiment and you find that to be fun
for shits and giggles,
or do it for shits and giggles, roll with that. You know what I'm saying? Because yes, once you tally up all your equipment and all the money you spent and all the locations that you paid to go to and all the traveling that you did, it doesn't become fun anymore. But when you sit down and think about it, we all started in a cemetery in our teenage years, sneaking in after dark with, just a flashlight.
Not Howie, he started on
whatever.
The moon.
Yeah, Howie started on the moon. I'm pretty sure John came out paranormal investigating.
John came out with a DR60.
He was birthed with it. Robert said, just a thought, came pleated circuits. Mike said, also depends on how on demand the lights are coming on or off. I do agree with that. I do. I mean, if I'm asking a spirit, hey, if you can see me, turn the flashlight on and it cuts on, and then after a second cuts off, or it stays on and you say, okay, if that's really you, can you cut it off? And it cuts off immediately. Now your senses are heightened and you're going, okay. John said the index cards add a twist to me. And that's what makes it fun. We constantly come up with creative ways of things to use, in the field, because that's what makes it fun. And, it's important, and it's okay to laugh and smile and joke with your team and have a good time at the end of the day. I have no complaints about this past weekend. Well, I mean, there was a couple, but we're not going there. John and everybody knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day,
I don't have a clue.
I got to eat good food with good people. I got to collaborate with some awesome teams. We got to go to some awesome locations. I learned some new techniques. I watched other investigators investigate, and that to me is a good time. So, that's what's key there. Robert said, thanks, y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
And this was a great conversation. Like I said, I learned so much from people's different opinions and observations and stuff like that. And, that's what it's all about. John
said, I love this shit.
Yeah.
I can't even put it in better words. We're just going to end it with that. I love this shit.
Yeah. When you get a bunch of investigators with experience in a room such as this, or a platform, and everybody's throwing out their opinion, their experience, their ideas, everyone can grow together. And that's, to me, what Para-Unity is all about.
And Carrie, I'm going to call you after this podcast. I can't wait to tell you about my new piece of equipment. It's my new piece of equipment, so I'm excited about it.
It sucks.
It does kind of suck because I haven't seen it go off. But once it goes off, y'all going to see me act like Zach Baggins. I'm going to be like, oh, shit.
I have the best equipment. The biggest,
of course. Of course.
It's small and it's not good.
John said deuces.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yep. Thank y'all.
We love y'all and appreciate all of y'all.
And
Para-Unity.
Yep, that's right. For those of you that don't follow or want to send us out there, at Hill City Ghosts on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. We just got an IG.
Thanks to my lovely kid, Naya.
Yep, Naya is running our Instagram.
Yeah, Naya's running the show on Instagram.
She is the help I called in. The cat's out the bag.
She's going to be mad as hell if she sees this.
But anyway, we will see y'all hopefully for Paranormal Fridays or this weekend at Paranormal Night at Avenel. We'll see you either way.
On the other side.
On the other side.